Hey everybody, have you ever wondered why Shopify doesn't handle professional invoicing out of the box? Well, I've discovered something that's going to change how you think about your store's invoicing process. Now, running a Shopify store is challenging enough without having to worry about creating professional, compliant invoices for every sale. And that's where Sufio comes in. They're the trusted invoicing solution that's already powering over 6,000 Shopify stores worldwide. And what I love about Sufio is how it completely automates the invoicing workflow. So whether you're B2C or B2B, it automatically generates and sends professional invoices, credit notes, and other essential documents. No more manual work or worrying about tax compliance. Their system has been validated by certified accountants to meet regulations around the world. Now, here's what makes Sufio very special. They're officially recommended by Shopify B2B invoicing. That's a huge vote of confidence in my books. Their templates are professionally designed and are super easy to customize with your own branding. You get automatic tax calculations and compliance for both domestic and international sales. And here's the best part, their in-house support team actually helps you set everything all up. We're talking holding hands right from the beginning. So I've arranged something special for my listeners. If you visit sufio.com, that's sufio.com/fastlane, and you can get exclusive 90-day free trial. That's a full 3 months to transform your invoicing process and see the difference for yourself. Now remember, that's sufio.com/fastlane. Sufio is the professional invoicing made simple for Shopify stores. Plain and simple. So go check them out.
You're listening to E-commerce Fastlane, the podcast show to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company, powered by Shopify. Listen to real conversations with partners and subject matter experts as they share proven practical strategies, platforms, and the best Shopify apps to help you accelerate your business. The time is now for you to improve efficiencies, grow revenue, profit, and lifetime customer loyalty. Please welcome your host, startup founder, and strategic advisor, Steve Hutt.
Welcome back to another episode of E-commerce Fastlane, and I'm your host, Steve Hutton. Today, I'm really thrilled. I know I always say I'm really excited or thrilled, but today I'm specifically and emphatically happy to have Chad Rubin on again. We literally just looked moments ago, and the last time he was on the show, believe it or not, was in June 31st of 2018. We're talking like pre-pandemic times, early days, episode number 13 of my podcast, in my early days of my career. There's a lot of things have happened with Chad over the years. He's been involved in our industry, and I use that in quotation marks, in a lot of different areas over the past 15 or more years. He's built and sold multiple companies along the way. One notable company called Scubana, which was like an order management platform. And, I think he had a show called The Prosper Show, and he, goes to a lot of these Amazon conferences, as a speaker. And it's pretty interesting. He has a lot of expertise with Amazon, both the optimization and kind of dynamic pricing strategies and really leveraging AI. And this is what his new venture, it's called Profasee. It's spelled Profasee. And in my opinion, I'm going to learn from him directly now, but I believe that this platform is really helping brands kind of approach pricing on Amazon. I think AI technology is really helping now. And I think under his leadership, I think he's really helping businesses just get more profit, be in the buy box. How do we get Amazon to show the product at the right price and then motivate people to actually want to purchase? And I think that's what we're going to dig into today. So Chad, welcome to your encore recording so many years later.
Thank you so much. I'm stoked to be here. A lot has happened since we last chatted.
I know, right? In my hand, and one thing I didn't even mention, but in my hand, you're actually an author too. I got to make sure that I share that, you really are deep into the e-commerce and kind of marketplace ecosystem. And Chad, with a little bit of help from Frank Turner, wrote a book called Cheaper, Easier, and Direct. and it's how to disrupt a marketplace and create your own e-commerce empire. And you were so kind to send me the book literally back in the day. Read the book, loved it. There's a lot of good screenshots, a lot of good information here. And so just want to throw that out there that you really have impacted the ecosystem in a lot of ways, both from a SaaS tool to actually doing it yourself with your own direct-to-consumer brand, and then being a book author. So once again, thanks for coming on the show.
Happy to be here, and thanks for having me. It's been my mission, really. It's been almost 20 years. So I started in e-commerce in 2006. So it's coming up on almost 20 years, and really I want to leave the space better than how I found it. I think I'm fulfilling that mission, and certainly back in it with my new venture. After the sale of Skubana and Prosper Show, I still have my e-com business today, and that's really been really seminal for me, and has paved the way for all the other stuff that I've done in the space.
Yeah, it was Crucial, right? Was it Crucial Vacuum?
Yeah, it's Crucial Vacuum. It's called Think Crucial now, which is like all encompassing, because we don't just make vacuum filters, we make coffee filters and air filters and cannabis filters.
Nice. It's amazing. I think the original story was your dad's brick and mortar location, and then you decided to kind of modernize it and kind of get online. So that's pretty cool. So let's talk about Profasee a little bit, because I think you're clearly going down the journey of pricing strategy and how crucial and critical it would be, to be successful on Amazon. And clearly you are successful and you understand the process of what needs to be there. But can you talk a little bit about how pricing impacts maybe search ranking and obviously profitability for a business on Amazon?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, Amazon's algorithm is really, really sensitive to price changes. And what happened is initially when Amazon first launched, it was all about resellers, and resellers would compete for the buy box. And really what it comes down to is being Prime eligible or being FBA and having the lowest price and having good reviews would get you the buy box. So we don't compete in that space. We compete for D2C brands that sell on Amazon, and those brands own the buy box. So they compete on the search engine ranking page on Amazon. So let's just say you type in, I don't know, small form factor wallets, you'll have Ridge come up, you'll have many other companies come up, and how do you know you're the optimal price on Amazon? Amazon's a really fast-moving marketplace. It's kind of like Wall Street. Buyers make irrational decisions. Brands are making inefficient decisions around pricing, and therein lies the opportunity. So we started Profasee really to figure out what is the optimal price point, because elasticity is changing, competitors are changing price, your spend is changing on Amazon. And what we found is that by iterating on price, it can produce massive gains. And it's no different than like what Uber is doing by dynamically changing price, or Expedia or Kayak. Even hedge funds are doing this. We're just providing these now tools, starting off giving it to the Amazon brands that sell on Amazon directly.
I've had a few more on the D2C side, but I've had companies that can go in there and they can reprice based on them either scraping or an API lookup of competitors more in commodity products. And there can be some seasonality and there could be some availability things, and they just kind of dynamically, based on competitiveness, they want to make sure in a commodity market that they are somewhere in the same range. But I think from what I can read, that Profasee goes about it in more of a predictive model and is able to, which I think is a different approach than traditional repricing tools I'm talking about. So can you talk a little about kind of like how your predictive AI actually works and why it's kind of different than just scraping and changing?
Yeah, so I think most brands say on Amazon, the challenge with pricing on Amazon, there's a couple. One is most brands don't change price. And if they do change price, they don't even know what the right price is, but they typically are doing what you're mentioning, which is just copying competitors. They see what everyone else is offering, they copy the price of the brand that copied their price, they go slightly lower to remain competitive. And the crazy thing is that those competitors that they're copying are broke. So then the question then begs, why on earth would you copy someone who went broke? So our model is a little bit different, not a little bit, a lot different. So a brand comes to us, they've never changed price. They maybe have some questions around price changes on Amazon, and we answer them, obviously. And so the first thing that we do is we suck in their data. So data is very important when you're building a model. So we bring in all their data into our system. We call it Listing Pulse. We have 10 times more data than I think, any other platform on the market. We go back 2 years on Seller Central. We go back, I think, a couple months as far as you can go with Amazon advertising. And so we're sucking in and crunching millions of data points. We're looking at trends, we're looking at patterns, we're looking at correlations that are invisible to the human eye to uncover opportunity. So we're looking at sessions, conversion rate, bids, and then we go and scrape your competitors. We're not looking to copy your competitor's price. We're pulling in their pricing to see, okay, well, what's their price? What's their rank on Amazon? What's their revenue? We enrich it. So we find out their revenue and their velocity. We pull in their market positioning. So we pull all of this in and we build an engine, kind of like you would build a ChatGPT thread. So now we've trained a model, but it's still not enough. There's one more step that's required. To really uncover opportunities, pricing opportunities, we need to further train the model. So imagine you go on Netflix or Facebook and you never watch a rom-com or you never watch a horror movie. That Netflix wouldn't know what to serve you. In the same way, most brands actually never change price. So we are lacking interaction data. So what we need to do is we need to force interaction data. And we do that by what we call hyperlearning. We train the model on a -5 to +5% boundary. We train it by changing price to see how Amazon reacts to price change, how competitors react, and how customers react to those changes. After we train the model, boom, then we move into the optimization phase. And this is when we're scanning for price discrepancies across the listings to identify arbitrage opportunities that can really reveal untapped value. So on average, we're seeing, by the way, a 10% lift in profit on average, sometimes 20, sometimes 30, sometimes 40. But the craziest thing is it doesn't need to be big price changes. The smallest price inefficiencies can be a source of profit.
Yeah. I think brands at scale too, it definitely makes a difference. I wonder about just the price volatility. Like what happens when people are searching around? This is what the difference I think between D2C and Amazon is the fact that maybe the D2C brand is or business is, it's like you're building a brand where it seems like, Amazon has the baked in audience. And if you're looking for a specific type of product or a branded product, you go there, you find it, you say, yeah, I like that, boom, and you buy it. But if you continue to shop around, have you found any pushback from any vendors that you connect with right now about, well, the price used to be $86.25 and then now I'm coming back and now it's $88.50 now. And is it weird to have instant volatility going on when you have a repeat visitor coming back?
So we change price once a day.
Okay.
Number one. And two, I think customers are just comfortable with the fact that Amazon's a fast-moving marketplace.
I see. Okay. Makes sense.
So it's like they're used to it. They're trained that they know pricing changes on Amazon. Like people are running deals. There's coupons. There's discounts.
Yeah.
Like you check your cart today and then you go in a week from now and that cart has price changes.
It does.
I subscribe to Berberine, which is a supplement. I'm subscribe and save, and I just got a message saying the price increased 25%. And by the way, that didn't affect me from getting it delivered. Like I need it and it's on autopilot. I don't have to think about it and I move on. So
right.
we actually have not gotten that.
I see. Okay, cool. And actually, I just logged into my Amazon account too. Important messages in your cart. There's 3 items in your saved items that have changed prices and they're giving me all the details. And 1 item in your saved items has changed. And so some are up, some are down. So I guess you're right. And with coupons and you can check box certain things and some are Prime eligible and not. I guess I never really thought about that I am an Amazon buyer and a Prime member. And so I see that I guess I'm okay with searching around. And what you're saying is that your solution daily is going in and making the correct change, but based on a learning model ahead of time and understanding, as you said, the arbitrage between what you should be. But this is dynamically done once a day based on research.
Yeah, it's fully automated. So even like the Shopify pricing apps the customer gives us their boundaries, their min price and their max price, right? The floor and ceiling price that they want. Those are strict. Those are child lock provisions, and we never surpass those. So they give us the boundaries and then we do the rest.
I see.
I was just going to say something that's super important. And I think this is really a big challenge in the e-commerce space that I'm noticing is that every company and their mother claims AI. And it's so terrible because it's kind of like using the word gluten-free or paleo. It doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy for you, but it's being diluted. And so our definition, we have two machine learning models, one that predicts demand and one that predicts price based on that demand level. And it gets smarter over time. So we're taking every single decision that we make. The algorithm is evolving. It's observing. It's experimenting. It's learning independently of me and my team and my data science team. And essentially, it's kind of like an algorithmic trading system, but for Amazon brands. And so, but it's real. It's like we put 2.4 million into this business to be an AI first company. This is not just like embedding a ChatGPT layer and saying that we're AI. This is like real models that we've built that are proprietary and competitive, where nobody can actually rip off and duplicate that R&D strategy that's happening across SaaS today. Nobody can do that, and that really sets us apart.
And then what do you say about a brand that obviously is multi-channel or omni-channel, and they are in other marketplaces, and they obviously are on their own direct-to-consumer Shopify store? Is there ever a disparity between, hey, well, today's price on Amazon is X, which we clearly say it's okay because we're trained to understand that there's deals and it's fast-moving. I get all that. Like, would there be or should there be a way for the Shopify store to have the same price in parallel?
Yeah, so it's a great question. It comes up quite often. So we have a couple of ways to approach it. The first approach is you can set up your min and max price. So you can put your max price at a specific price that you don't want it to go above or don't want it to go above. That's the first way that I would approach it if I was a brand. Second is we have an input inside of the system, and it detects. Amazon has two sort of pricing things that it does. One is something called the competitive price threshold. So it's looking across Amazon to see, is this pricing out of whack? And then two, there's something called a price parity suppression that could potentially happen, where Amazon will look to see if your pricing is the same as your D2C channel. So we have a button that you push where we'll detect it, and if Amazon has an issue, we'll automatically revert that price back to the original price that you started with. So we essentially automatically are detecting this with technology. Not every listing on Amazon's scraping. You just can't. Like, laws of physics kick in, and it can't scrape all these other listings that are off Amazon for the price. So we, though, are continuously monitoring and have a rapid response to these issues or challenges that sometimes arise, but not often. You'd be surprised. So you can use the boundaries. You could use our technology by hitting a button in our platform where we're automatically detecting this. And then I think just the last thing is we can be giving the brand where the price is going on a weekly basis. So we currently don't connect to Shopify and in parentheses yet.
Right.
We started on Amazon, but that's just like Skubana. It's where we start, but it's not where we finish.
I've also had a lot of agency partners who really help brands on Amazon, and they took like ad optimization and just like they feel that unfortunately it's a pay-to-play kind of environment in a lot of cases, or at least it's part of a channel strategy on Amazon is to have an ad budget. And so can you talk a bit about how Profasee can maybe help you have the pricing side kind of organized? And I get all that learning and execution on that, but how about from the ads side of Amazon?
That is a beautiful question.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know that we started doing ads. So we started Profasee strictly around price, and just using price, we'll see a 10% lift. But then we started finding that if you don't harmonize price and spend together, if you do it, you can actually unlock a massive amount of more money. And this is interesting because like most companies are only focusing on spend. So this gives us a huge leg up because we actually are focusing on price and spend together. So there's this part on our website, which we can share in the show notes, a table, and it shows if you increase price 20% and you also increase spend 20%, you can double your contribution profit dollars on Amazon. And that's the heartbeat of business. So that's something that we found by, it wasn't the initial reason why we started the company, but something that we found, say, by accident, and has been paying massive dividends for the brands. And also, I'll give you like an interesting use case, right? Imagine we change price and we increase price 20%. Now imagine your ad team or your agency decreases spend 20%. So
Yeah.
what happens when you increase price is demand drops.
Right.
Unless you're Nike or Apple, right? Typically, your demand drops. And so now your demand is dropped, and now you've dropped spend, and it can actually make the results look a little bit worse if they're not connected, if they're not jointed together. And so if they are connected, though, right now you can increase price 20%, and now you can increase spend simultaneously. So now you're artificially, your organic has dropped, your organic revenue has dropped by increasing price because your demand is down, but now you can artificially increase that demand with dollars and spend to unlock a whole lot of money. So this is something that we're very focused on. It's a big part of our company right now. It's not a big part of our website, although we have a section that talks about the price and ad optimizer together. And this is what I'm referring to and to me, it's like the holy grail of e-commerce is price and ads together.
Yeah, no, 100%. I also see a few case studies or some videos and stuff here of some brands that are, I guess, were early adopters for your platform. Is there any kind of standout review, kind of here's what my life was before Profasee, and decided to give Chad and his company a role, and then what happened on the other side?
Yeah. If I share my screen, I know the viewers won't be able to see it. We can always share like a screenshot of it, but if I share my screen, can you see it? So here's a case that is super interesting. This is a influencer in our space. His name is Mina. He has a supplement company. And so he came to us, and I'm going to show you a graph here that has a red line and a blue line, and the red line represents profit of this year. The blue line represents profit of last year. And you'll start seeing that we are really capitalizing on the mispricing that exists on the marketplace. And those mispricings that occur are opportunities for us to exploit and to deliver that as financial gain. And so what you're looking at here is a widening between that red and the blue line, and really capitalizing on a 7-figure profit opportunity that existed that he was not even aware of. Now, at the bottom here is us changing price. So we're rotating pricing once a day, dynamically, using our machine learning AI engines in the background. And you can see here that we're actually in the in-season, we start to surge pricing, and you can see how that widens over time. Now, I'm also just going to share with you real-time information from his Amazon listing, and we can always just share this graph as well in the notes. Here's a chart in the listing itself. And what this chart is denoting, pink is price, and green is ranking position. Now, one thing we didn't cover in this podcast yet is the fact that one of the reasons why pricing is so hard on Amazon, not just because it's a fast-moving marketplace, but because there's a second order of consequence that happens. There's something that I call the knock-on effect. So when you change price today, it affects your order volume tomorrow. Amazon is sensitive to price changes, and it affects your discoverability and your rank in the marketplace when you make a change to price. So you can see here, he never changes price. And you can see in the green his ranking position. The higher that green is, the worse it is. And then you see when we take over and started repricing, dynamically rotating that price, look at what happens to that green line.
Yeah, plummeted.
A order of magnitude drop.
Yeah.
And look at this this is a 7-figure profit gap that we crushed for this guy. We essentially paid for his wedding.
Yeah.
And so this is what I'm talking about when people on Amazon are fearful of price changes. You need to be making smart and conscious decisions around price that are data-driven, and your ranking won't be affected. And that's exactly what we do. We use data, crunch all that data, massive load of data to figure out what is the right price change that's going to unlock value for the business.
I see.
And the reason why Amazon's algorithm love these price changes is we're giving it more of we're feeding this flywheel. We're giving it more of what it wants. So if you are really aligning your price to the value that you're offering on the marketplace and you're increasing your conversions, Amazon's going to be like, what? Love it. We're going to reward you for this behavior. And that's exactly what you're seeing in this graph.
I see. It's amazing. So What I find interesting, though, and I did a tiny bit of research on this, but there is no kind of true A/B testing going on in Amazon as far as pricing is concerned. And I think your workaround on that is the fact that you're doing all this behind the kimono, so to speak, behind the scenes, doing all the research and all the data analysis, and then making these appropriate changes once per day. And that, in its essence, based on what I'm seeing here, is proof that the daily change is actually feeding Amazon correctly, and it's motivating them to give them better organic reach, and the revenue clearly is going up because you're making dynamic changes once a day, which is kind of like an A/B test.
Yeah, it's true. You cannot A/B test pricing on Amazon, or you can't duplicate a list the same way you can on Shopify. You can have two different listings and drive traffic to those two listings and see what performs better.
Right.
You can't do that on Amazon, especially because this factor that I mentioned, which is this ranking. So when you change your price, it affects your orders and your rank. And so what we do is this, I'm doing exactly actually how we break down your business. So we have a team of data scientists. We look at graphs and we say, hey, okay, what's going on with profit? What's happening to profit last year? Based on the price changes that we're making, how is that impacting these graphs? And we are essentially showing the results of those graphs to our clients. When we meet with them, we will have a results call with them. So we're essentially measuring, reporting, we're quantifying those results, and then we're taking the learnings. The model is taking the learnings and getting smarter over time, but we're also taking these learnings and refining the strategy and the inputs inside the UI, inside the user interface that we provide to our clients.
I see. Okay, very cool.
So we're not a software as a service. It's not like, hey, let's give you the software, see you later.
Yeah.
The software with a service that we provide, where we really work with our clients to optimize the outcome so that we could actually gain an advantage over the rest of the brands that are selling in your specific category.
And then how do people get access? Well, first of all, let's talk about the price side of it. How do you price the product? Because clearly, there's a lot of brands that are choosing to use you because clearly the upside is there. But you are a SaaS business to, keeping the lights on. You have to have a fee or be somewhat associated to revenue and number of products and stuff. Can you talk a little about how you price the product, and then what's been your experience so far of saying, yeah, fair enough, we charge X, but we have found the incremental lift that the brand actually gets for the small amount of money they pay us, the lift is significantly in the merchant's favor. But I'd just like to hear it from you.
So you go to pricing on our site, and our pricing is driven based on the amount of ASINs, amount of SKUs on Amazon, the Amazon SKU identification number, the SKU. How many SKUs do we manage for you? We don't need to manage the whole portfolio. Even initially, we can start with a smaller subset of SKUs.
I see.
And then what's the revenue of under management of those SKUs? That spits out a flat price. We don't take a percentage. So the upside we leave to the client. Now, interestingly enough, we have on the actual homepage of our site, if you scroll down, there's a results. It's kind of like it's a how much money you're leaving on the table. It's a profit calculator, really. And so based on the revenue and based on your gross profit, it'll spit out what the profit impact is. So on average, we see a 10% lift. So if you're doing 10 million in revenue, 25% gross profit margins, the 10% lift on average will be $20,000 a monthly profit that you're missing out on Amazon. Mm-hmm. Now, what do we do to make it a no-brainer is we have a ROI guarantee, a 3x ROI guarantee. So that means whatever you pay us, we guarantee to deliver you back 3 times whatever you put into the engine. Or we keep working for free until we do. So we're not selling a software, we're selling an outcome. We're really focusing on the results of the business and can we make your business more effective? We take on the risk, we limit your downside, and we won't stop until we do deliver what our promise is.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, yeah, it just seems like an absolute no-brainer. So is there any kind of sweet spot of merchant that you've found the most impactful? And the reason why I say that, and kind of who, the type of clients that you're looking for, The reason I say that is because like thousands are listening to this podcast right now. Most are on Amazon, but they're going to be all over the map from like kind of early stage in their entrepreneurial journey, barely getting product market fit. And then there's going to be lots of those in, those 7 and 8 and maybe a few 9-figure brands that are listening. And so I just want to know like where are you best suited as a starting point? And then is the sky the limit as far as the overall size of business that you can handle?
Yeah. So just to use our model, like I mentioned, we need a lot of data. So you need to right out of the gate have at least 3 to 5 units sold a day on average for the past 5 months. That's a strong requirement. The more SKUs that we manage and the more transactions that we manage and the more revenue, the more upside and opportunity. So our smallest client, let's just say, is doing $200,000 a year on Amazon. Currently, we're on Amazon US, but we're coming to Canada, Germany, France, all the international marketplaces in January. So it's coming soon. And so smallest business is on Amazon US doing $200K, and then we go all up right now to about a $40 million business. So we service everything in between. I call that the SMB, the small, medium-sized business space.
All right,
Now,
cool.
who's not a fit. So somebody who's reselling, obviously, if you're just buying and selling a product, or maybe you're doing some online arbitrage or drop shipping as a reseller, not a fit. Another interesting conundrum is, let's just say you're a beauty brand and you're selling in Sephora and you're on Amazon. Well, the challenge with that is that Sephora has specific details in their contract that says, hey, we always need to be X percentage below, or we always need to be at parity. So what happens is, and it's kind of unfortunate, is that the brands that have this like national presence in brick and mortar get sabotaged on Amazon because they have these restrictions that are in these other retail stores. And that becomes a challenge for us. And so, we had one example of a brand. It's a beauty brand. He was on us and then got into Target. Now, he only got into 30 Target stores. It was a test for them. And essentially, Target was shopping their price on Amazon, and Amazon became a slave to a channel that produced the smallest amount of profit and revenue for this brand, where they couldn't change price. And it becomes it's a problematic area specifically for those brands when you lose control of price.
Yeah, this is wild. This is so interesting. Like I knew that there was likely technology out there to, or people like duct taping something together and trying to be successful. I think a lot of it mostly was just around the ads side of Amazon and just kind of pay to play and kind of like and that sort of optimization. And there are different sorts of SaaS tools that are apparently trying to solve the ad problem on Amazon to be competitive, to be profitable and stuff like that. And it sounds like you're doing a 1-2 punch of like, well, let's start off first with pricing. Let's pull in all the data and let's go ahead and make these changes. And clearly, from the screenshots you've shown me, and I'll make sure these go in the show notes, that you're onto something pretty impactful. And then having that ROI guarantee too. I mean, a 3x. I mean, no matter what people are paying you're going to guarantee a 3x on that. So it's an absolute no-brainer. So if you're in that sweet spot of doing above 200K on Amazon right now, this 5 orders or more a day, depending on what your basket size is. But, if you're doing 200K or more, it sounds like there's an opportunity here. And so how do we want people to maybe get a demo or see if they're a good fit? What do you think the next step should be?
Next steps is you could sign up for a demo at Profasee.com.
Okay.
I give all the demos. So we got a personal demo for myself.
Nice.
In the promo, if you can put Fast Lane, and we'll give anyone who's listening 30% off if you use promo code FASTLANE when you sign up in all capital letters. You can also email me. My personal email, I'm very responsive to email. I'm always supporting the community. So my email is Chad, CHAD, @Profasee, PROFASEE.com.
Okay. Beautiful. All right, this will all be in the show notes. This has been very eye-opening, incredible recording. I'm glad that we made this before Christmas hustle to make this work, because I'm excited to. I think there's a lot of people now that are listening. This is likely going to be either right at the end of the year or right in January, and I think it's a good timing where you can kind of look back at your BFCM and your Q4 kind of performance and saying, hey, could there been a better opportunity on Amazon? And, based on this recording, the answer is yes, because you have this 3x guarantee. So it's a no-brainer. If you're on Amazon, you're doing, $200K or more annually, it's time to get a hold of Chad and his team and kind of like just get a demo and check it out. You don't know what you don't know. And based on Skibana and other opportunities you've been involved with in the past, clearly, you're quite an entrepreneur and you really put all your time, energy, and focus kind of on your project at hand, and I really appreciate this next opportunity. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to chat with you about it after all these years. And I'm glad that you have continued success now in this new opportunity.
My wife would say that I'm maniacally focused on this.
That's good. I love it.
Yeah.
That's an entrepreneur at heart. I love it, love it, love it. All right, Chad, we'll have a great holiday. Happy New Year to you and your family. And thanks again for recording.
Thank you so much, and talk to you hopefully not in 4 years. Let's make it a more recurring event.
You got it. I'm going to do an auto set in my calendar right now. I'm going to have at least an annual event. Holy moly. All right. Have a good one. Well, that's it for today's episode. I'd like to thank you personally for being a loyal listener of E-commerce Fastlane. It's my hope that this podcast is offering you a ton of value through growth strategies, tactics, and exclusive insider tips on the best Shopify apps and marketing platforms, all with my personal goal to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company powered by Shopify. Thanks for investing some time today and listening to the show. I'm so proud and excited that you have a growth mindset and are a constant learner. I truly appreciate you and your entrepreneurial journey. Enjoy the rest of the week and keep thriving with Shopify.